everyone, Will here from Mature Minded Gamers, and today we're going to be showing you a little game called Hoarders from GeekOn. This is a 2 to 5 player game that plays ages 10 and up in around 30 minutes. It's very easy to learn. Let's show you how it works and we'll be right back with our thoughts. To start off a game of Hoarders, players are first going to choose one of the 5 included character types, and that would be the chef, the plumber, the cop, the scientist, or the fisher. Now, each one of these characters has a specific weapon type that they are best at. That'll come into play in a little bit when we describe how to do attacks. After that, players are then going to draw 10 cards from the main deck. Now, there are a lot of cards that can form this main deck, consisting of weapons as well as instants. We'll talk about those here in just a minute. So I'm going to deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 cards. Now, the card quality is actually pretty good for this kind of being more of a prototype, but this is a good quality card stock. Now, you're going to take a look at the 10 cards that you got, and you're going to keep at minimum 4 weapon cards, and then 4 of any other additional type of card, which can consist of other weapons or these orange instant cards. Now, once players have chosen the other 4 cards they're going to keep, the other 2 cards get shuffled back into the main deck. Now, the other players at the table are going to do the same thing, where they're going to be drawing their draw of 10 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're going to do the same thing, keeping 4 weapon cards. So if you don't have 4 weapon cards and you drew maybe a hand such as this, then you're going to be able to actually discard the entire thing, reshuffle the main deck, and start over. So once players have all gotten their hand of 8 cards, play is going to start with each player laying down 4 weapon cards in front of them. Now, the other player is going to do the same thing across the table for me, having 4 cards in front of them. Now, the player that they say is the most prepared for the apocalypse is actually going to be the first player. You can do one of 2 things during your turn. You're able to take 2 actions. You're going to draw a card from the main deck, which is this large stack of cards. And then you are going to, or you can attack a survivor. Now, to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your face down cards, essentially place it in front of another player, the other player's weapon card, and you're both going to reveal at the same time. Now, what happens is an attacker, I've got a 7 to his 5 defense. Then the attacker were to win. In this instance, the card goes away, gets discarded, mine goes back face down in front of me. Now, why that matters as far as like getting rid of this card, because the other player during their turn, if they have a weapon card in their hand, they can immediately replace it. If they do not have a weapon card in their hand, at the time that it gets removed, then they are permanently reduced down to 3 slots for weapon cards. Now, why do you even want to win combat? Well, the whole point of the game is to try to be able to get these resources, which are like tons of different types of food, like a dinner bait, chips on an old block, go hog wild, nothing to kimble at, party time, most excellent. You got banana split, you got raccoon fever, your favorite aunt, chow down, seating is believing, early bird special, chalk it up. I mean, tons and tons of different cards. Now, each one of these cards has a different point value. Now, as the attacker, I would actually draw one of these from the top of the deck, placing it underneath my character card, just like that. Now, let's say that the other player did have a weapon card in their hand and they were able to replace. Then it would go on to the other player's turn after I take my second action of drawing a card. Then the other player would choose a weapon card, pick one of my cards, and we would again do a battle. So the difference here being we've got an attacker value of 8, defender of 7. Again, this player were to win, and it would go back down here. This would go away. I don't have a card in my hand, let's say, so that gets set aside. So I don't have another slot permanently lost. And then that player would draw one of the resources, again, playing under that. Now let's see what happens if the defender were to win. So what you're going to do is the fisher, I'm going to decide I'm going to attack this card here. I'm going to flip this over. I've got an attack of 6, and we're going to, with his scissor kicks, and he's got the axe identical tourist with a defense of 9. Well, the 9 is going to beat my attack. So the defender is actually going to win. This card goes away. This one flips back over, and they do not gain a resource. So that is a way that maybe I have eliminated a card, but the defender did. Well, if I don't have an attack card to place down, well, again, I lose another slot. Play continues until you have no weapon cards in your play area in front of you, and the player with the most resources is the winner. Now, again, there are tons of different types of cards you can play in here. So these instant cards you can actually play at any time during the game. So like mix the order of the face down weapon cards. That could actually be pretty good because if I already know what this card is, well, maybe I know what number I'm going to need to beat it. But if they get all mixed together, then man, I'm going to have a hard time remembering. Another card you can lay down is a stink bomb. So a stink bomb is essentially like a trap. If I had laid this card down in here, then this gets flipped over and he attacks this one. Well, boom, this weapon gets destroyed. Now, these can never be used to attack and only defense. So if you have a player is specifically not playing down a card or not attacking with a card, it's probably going to be some sort of bomb. Now, there's also sneak a peek. Choose one face down weapon card to an opponent to be shown to you in secrecy, because this does play up to 5 players. Again, there's tons of different types of weapons. You got blood type, you got booby trap, you got slow pitch, you got soup de gore, you got stick disfigure, and all of these cards do have different art, which is actually really cool because I hate when I play a game and I have these different weapons, but it's just a generic weapon, you know, and it's all just the same thing. When they've done a really nice job of making sure that every single one of these has a different look to it, which is really cool. Now, the other thing that you want to keep in mind in this game is the benefits for the type of character that you are. So, for example, if I am attacking, let's say I have this card here, and it is also a net, and I go up and I'm going to be fighting up against the with the throwing star fish, and I've got a net, and it's a net. When we go to actually attack, then I can actually pick the highest of the 2 values on this specific card to go up against the defense here. So if this defense was actually like a 7, let's say, I would still win because that matches. So that's pretty much how you play Hostile Hoarders. And again, the player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner. All right, so that was Hostile Hoarders from GeekOn. I got to say the component quality was actually really good. It's a prototype version right now, but I got to say if they continue with that quality, it is perfect. I love that the art is very stylized and individualistic. I think that every single one of the cards, except for some of the instants, are the same. But for the most part, all of the art is unique, and I think that is spot on for a game like this when you're going to have different types of weapons that have different stats and everything. I like how the different characters can utilize different bonuses based on the types of weapons that they would actually use. And I think it was actually a lot of fun to play. Now, where the game shines for me is actually more towards the higher player count. The more players that you have, the more crazy things are happening as far as like, cards go in different battle directions and everything. You got to be kind of careful about key making. You don't want to make sure that one person is still having the most cards. So you don't want to just beat on that little guy, especially when they're running low on cards, because you're going to be going around the table. If you get hit 4 or 5 times and you have no cards in your hand, it can be pretty demoralizing. Now, the biggest thing I can say is as long as you keep that in mind, where maybe you're just attacking the person on the left, I think it is a very fun, engaging game. And I can't wait for people to get this into their hands. They're going to come out on Kickstarter and check it out. I think it's going to be an absolute fantastic. I think it's going to be a hit because this game is a lot of fun. Highly recommended for a small game that you're going to be able to make a filler game you'll be able to play within 30 minutes while you're going to be getting to the next bigger game. It's not going to be a game that you're going to be bussing out or people come over specifically to play it. But I don't think that's really the intent here. I think the intent is more the casual player or something in between larger games at your game night. If you like games like Munchkin and games like that, I think this would be a perfect fit for your gaming group. All right, everybody. This has been Will from Mature Minded Gamers showing you Hostile Hoarders from GeekOn. Be sure to check out all of our other great content on maturemindedgamers.com. We do video games, board games, and so much more. So please hit that like and subscribe button when you're going to be notified on all of our other great content. And until next time, everyone stay safe and take care.